Hi, I'm Ailbhe McDonagh. In this video, we'll be discussing bow distribution. We haven't yet discussed what happens when we have a piece with different note values in it. So what I mean by that is something that might have a minim or a half note, or a quarter note or a crotchet. So if we have varying note lengths, then what do we do with our bow? I'm going to bring you to my piece Chinese Garden, which is the first piece in It's a Cello Thing. The link is down below if you want to see the sheet music. So it begins at the start with simply a minim, followed by two crotchets, so when we're approaching pieces, we always feel like we need to start at the heel for a down bow and start at the tip for an up bow, because we obviously know that the up bow starts at the tip and goes this way, and the down bow starts at the heel and goes this way. But we don't necessarily always need to use the full bow for this. So bow distribution literally means how we distribute the bow during a piece. So have a look at this. Let's imagine we're going to use a full bow for a minim. Now I'm not sure I would when I play this piece, but let's do this as an exercise. So let's imagine we've got 1, 2, that's our minim. So then what I'll do is, if I've used a full bow for the minim, then I'll use half the bow for each crotchet. So for the next 4 notes, they're all crotchets. So we might try 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to a minim. Now we're back to the heel. So it's very efficient. The next bar has 1 crotchet, 2 quavers, and 2 more crotchets to fill up our 4/4 time signature. So we have crotchet. So for keeping with what we did for our bow distribution previously, we've used half a bow for the crotchet. Here, the quavers are only half the length of the crotchets, so we might use just a quarter of a bow for those. Back to our half bows. Now we've got a minim. Now how do we use only half a bow for a minim? Because at the beginning we used a full bow. So here I'm going to use just half the bow, but I'm going to go at half the speed. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm back at my halfway point. I may not use the whole half of the bow for the crotchets, but let's see. A minim again, slow, quavers, crotchet, so it's very interesting how we decide to work with bow speed and bow division to see what we really need as we play a piece. So a lot of different things come into it. So you might decide, well, if I want to hear something very loud, then I'll use lots of bow. See what we did at the very start? But actually this piece is marked mezzo piano, MP, which means moderately soft. So mezzo piano. And maybe I don't need so much bow for the beginning. So let's go back and see, this time can we use just half a bow for the minim? A quarter for the crotchets. So you can see now this is a totally different decision again, because for me, the beginning bar was great. But for this bar with the quavers, I needed a little more bow. So this time I'm going to use more for the crotchet. And in this second phrase, it's quite quiet, but it's doing a crescendo. So we're gradually getting louder up to mezzo forte, moderately loud. So at the beginning, I don't want to use too much bow. Use more. So at the very beginning, when you're playing nice pieces with very little variation, something like, for example, Frère Jacques, we have this is a great one because the beginning is all very, very similar. Half a bow per crotchet. Minim, full bow, half, half, minim. Here, quavers, maybe a quarter. Crotchet, crotchet. Crotchet, crotchet, minim, minim. So you can decide how you want to divide your bow that best helps the music in the way that it's written and directed. Welcome to the exciting challenge of bow distribution. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.